Hello, everybody. Welcome to Carrie on Accessibility, where we talk about accessibility and technology. Apologies for the delay. We had some technical issues to iron out. Today, I have two wonderful guests, which we'll get back to in just a minute. And our topic for today is the coolest tech of 2023 and what we're looking forward to in 2024, along with some of our favorites as people who are blind and visually impaired. Before we continue, I want to thank all the COA Patreon and YouTube channel members. Thank you for all your support. And a big, huge thank you to Robert Johnson, who's a new Epic Ally patron. It takes a lot of time and effort and resources to create videos and create this content and bring it to you guys. So I appreciate everybody who is supporting. And if you think that this content is valuable and you want to support this channel, please consider becoming a COA YouTube channel member or a COA Patreon patron member. And we also really appreciate any super chats or super thanks. So now to introduce, I have two wonderful guests with me, Des Delgadillo. Hey, Des.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Cool, because that was a big problem earlier. Sorry. We are late because of me. I want to take full credit for slowing the show down. But thanks, Carrie. My name is Des Delgadillo, but I know Jaws does butcher my name, so it's not for your fault. And I am super happy to be here. I have a podcast that people can listen to called This Week in Accessibility. And I am really excited to kind of share all the research that I do over there. I can't usually contain it into one show, so that's going to spill over into this stream today.
Yes, and if you guys want to listen to which episode was it, Des? A few weeks
Episode
ago.
4, yeah.
Yeah, I was on there with Des and Lewis, and we talked a lot about tech, and it was a little bit more about accessibility, the landscape of things, and today we're going to be talking more about tech. And we also have Lewis Doe. I always
Correct.
feel like I'm
She's
going to
not
say
sure
your
now.
name wrong. So go ahead, Lewis. I'm going to put you on the spot right here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Louis Doe. I also co-host the This Week in Accessibility podcast with Des Delgadillo. And it's great to be here. Thanks for having us, Carrie.
Okay, so thank you to both of you for coming on today. It's going to be a really fun one because I think I'm not wrong in saying that we all really enjoy tech, and everybody knows that I have a tech addiction. And I would love it if you guys would join us in the live chat and share your thoughts or if we missed anything when it comes to 2023 in tech. So let's just
The first step towards fixing a problem is acknowledging you have one, right? So,
but is it a problem though? Is it a problem?
you're not in debt from it, and you're making money from it, right? So,
Eh,
So
let's move
much
on.
money. Big
Let's
so
move,
much
bucks.
money.
let's move on.
Being an influencer and everything.
Yes. Not really. No, that's a lie. Okay, so coolest tech that released in 2023. What are all you guys using that came out in 2023, or maybe even just what you started using in 2023? And it doesn't have to be strictly accessibility related, but it definitely could be. Who wants to start?
I'll
I will
start.
go ahead.
For me, it was the year of AI, which I'm sure for many of you was the same thing. I pay for ChatGPT, Google Bard. I use Google Bard. I use Be My Eyes or Be My AI now. Excuse me. And it's been such a great year to see that technology being in the mainstream and just seeing how folks in the blind and visually impaired community has leveraged this new technology and just seeing the different innovative ways that's happening. I know we're talking about what highlights of 2023, but at the beginning of this year, in this month, in 2024, I was seeing that the Braille Sense, one of the note takers from hymns, they are gonna be adding ChatGPT. So that's gonna be interesting.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, note
Did not
takers
see that.
are adopting that. So it's quite the year of AI in 2023, and I expect nothing to change in that regard for 2024.
Right,
Lewis, I ran out of time, but I was gonna prepare a little game to surprise you guys with, likely or unlikely, and that was the first question I was gonna put on the game was a note taker incorporates ChatGPT. So you beat me to it, and you would have totally won the game.
And I mean, I don't think it's much of a surprise because you were seeing AI coming to screen readers too. So I think in 2024 we're going to see a lot more of that.
Yeah, definitely. And now we can use ChatGPT to write whatever we want, like especially emails, so we don't have to even think about it. And I mean, I've been using it to write different blogs and different posts and make this sound nicer. What's that word that I'm looking for? Can you just fix this? That's just so helpful.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest value for ChatGPT is that I have a proofreader or a like this entity over my shoulder helping me refine my writing that really can't get annoyed with me. Well, unless it's we're experiencing high volumes right now. Please try again later, kind of thing. So
If AI ever becomes sentient, it will be because of Lewis.
why does everyone like blame me for things?
Everybody in the comments blame Lewis for things. Go.
There you
There,
go.
I've just unleashed a whole chat against you.
I feel great. I feel honored.
It's definitely all Lewis's fault. All right, he can make or break AI. No, just kidding.
You should.
By the way, happy Friday and happy hour. So
Yeah, I was sitting here setting up, and I took my mug, and I was about to take a sip, and it's completely empty. So I was really sad.
I'm so sorry.
I thought you were
Yeah.
saying AI told you no.
Oh, it probably will soon, right? I mean, I have a whole Discord server that says that I put coffee in my whole 32-ounce water bottle. So it's gonna be like our new moms and dads.
I'm drinking mango orange juice because I care about my health.
I love mango, but I don't know about mango orange. Are you drinking anything, Des?
I'm drinking some cold coffee from a couple hours ago.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Is it really?
I'm half
It's
joking.
it's like
Cold
on its
brew.
way to being cold brew, but it's not quite there yet, you know?
Cold brew is amazing.
I've
Homemade
never had
cold brew is
cold brew
amazing.
ever,
It's so good.
actually. So anyway, do you have anything that you want to talk about? What's like one of your favorite stats from this year that was released? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, so Lewis mentioned a lot of the AI the AI apps that are out there. Some of those apps have also been incorporated into screen readers like the NVDA OpenAI add-on. So now you can very easily just set your focus to your navigator object and then describe whatever's in that object using GPT-4 vision. And as you know from using Be My AI, the descriptions are very robust. So that was really cool to be able to use. I also started using Lion quite a bit.
Lion.
I don't know if it came out in 2023, but it's another NVDA add-on that actually reads text on the screen. So it basically does OCR, and you can customize the interval that it does it in. And I think they've actually started to build that in the most recent betas into the actual native feature set. But it's really cool. For example, if you want to play video games like Pokemon or Final Fantasy, games that are have a lot of text on screen, you can now actually read that. Or another cool use case for that was like watching subbed anime. So like yeah, see, so you can watch and see if the dub is as good as you remember, or if you're going to become a subs person. So those were two really cool ones that I think flew under the radar this year that I really liked.
Wait, I have a question about that. If it notices that it's the same text will it still read it out loud to you, or is it smart enough to know, oh, it's still the same? I'm going to wait for it to for the screen to change.
Well, that's the cool thing is it does notice, and you can actually set like if you have some site, you can use the crop feature and actually crop the exact part of the screen that you want to be OCR'd. So if there's the specific part of the screen where the subtitles show up, which I assume there is one, you can just crop into that area and then have refresh it, set the interval for which it refreshes, and also set the threshold for when it should detect a change. It's pretty
That
cool.
is so cool. I need this for the Nintendo Switch. This is what I
Yes.
need.
Yeah, I'm hoping
Ah,
2024.
come
Let's
on,
do it.
Nintendo.
So are these add-ons? These are all NVDA add-ons, correct?
Yeah, they're add-ons right now. I've heard through the grapevine, and I'm not beta testing, but I'm pretty sure that it's being adopted into the features for the new NVDA beta.
That is so cool.
And
Please
if
make our life
somebody's
easier. Make our
yeah, and if
lives
somebody
easier.
knows more about that, then please leave us a comment. I will be reading them later, by the way, so please say nice things about me.
There
Yeah,
you go. So blame Lewis for
he
everything.
lives
And
on your praises and your comments. That's the only thing that will sustain him for
It's
2024.
literally the only thing.
oh my goodness. For me, one of the best things that has happened is seeing AI on Android.
Mm.
I was using Google Lookout, and oh, I haven't published that video yet, but I talk about in an upcoming video about seeing Google Lookout and how it changed into this menu to change modes, and it's just a lot more time. It's so much less
You don't like
efficient.
it?
No, I absolutely despise it.
Yeah, I
I
despise
really
it too.
do.
I
I
agree. I do
really
not like
do.
to menu dive. I don't understand why shortcuts aren't a thing. I don't understand.
Okay, so the thing is, if they had a menu, but you could still, do a two-finger swipe to get to the next, I would have been pretty much fine with that, honestly. Like,
Carrie,
I
Carrie,
just
Carrie, Carrie.
what,
Pause.
what,
You mean if things made sense?
yeah,
Wait, so is that
exactly.
how it was before? I can't
Yes,
even
that's how
remember.
it was
Yes,
before.
yes, it was, and it was great. It was great. I don't know why they changed it. Well, that's Google for you. Take away good things.
It's so funny that you bringing this up because I've noticed that like once they pushed out that update, my usage of Lookout dramatically decreased, and
Mhm.
I will spend time on another frustrating app because I want to spite Lookout rather than use it. So yeah.
The funny thing is they tied that update with a way to play if you're not using a screen reader, for it to be able to play what document you scanned, right? Until you can have a play button that will read it for you if you're not using a screen reader. And I mean, I really liked that. Seeing AI has had that, I don't know, since like the beginning. So
Since inception. Yeah.
I don't know. But, I have a app where if I long press the volume up button on my phone, as long as you're not in camera or other apps where it would conflict, it, automatically opens up Seeing AI. And so I mean, it's just so much easier. It really is. And also the text on Seeing AI is larger than on Google Lookout, so
How
that's
do you find the accuracy?
um Well, okay. I will say it kind of depends on what I'm looking at. Well, what the phone is looking at, whatever. Um, Sometimes I feel that seeing AI is worse. And then for some things, I feel like it's better depending on the paper or depending on what I'm pointing at.
I can see
Um,
that.
yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I concur.
What do you say?
I said I concur. I
Yeah.
agree with your assessment.
The thing that I do like about seeing AI is the barcode. Well, it's kind of frustrating. It's a mixed bag, right?
Hmm.
Google, you can kind of scan it in whatever part of the product. If it's in their database, it'll tell you. And then seeing AI, it has the barcodes if it's in the database, but it has usually has more information, which I kind of like, but it takes longer. So There's the pros and cons of everything. Why
This
can't we
is
have
this is
everything?
why choice is so important.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, I also have been really enjoying the Pixel 8 Pro guided frame
Oh, I'm so
2.0.
jealous of you.
2.0, okay? The first version of this was you can take selfies, and that's kind of cool, I guess, but I don't know. Most of the time I'm not sitting here, "Oh, look how beautiful I am. Let me post this on Instagram." No. I
No, you're
mostly
not you.
no, not me.
Okay.
I
Not
usually
living up to your influencer credibility here.
no, I take pictures of my dog, my family, my son, like random documents, random stuff. And that's where the guided frame 2.0 is great. It now can recognize things in the rear facing camera, and it will tell you how many faces there are, if they're centered, and it also tell you like random things like electronics or um what was it, like a mug, there's a water bottle, like not everything, and it's more generalized. It's not like an object identifier app thing. It's just to help you center, and it'll take the picture for you when it thinks that it's in a good position, and it'll count down like 3, 2, 1, and then it'll automatically take it for you, which
That's great.
I really like. Yeah. Hmm.
Even the dog agrees.
I'm sorry.
Even the dog agrees.
uh, uh let's see, is there anything else that you guys started using this year or that you guys really enjoyed? Well, there's two more things that I want to talk about, but I didn't want to monopolize this section.
Yeah, you should.
But there was the Hable one, which I have right next to me actually. And not sponsored, okay? This is really not sponsored or anything. This has really been like a low key helpful for me, like practicing my braille. I also got the e-reader from NLS, and so like typing braille for me and reading it feel like two separate things, but like once I started typing it, like it helped me remember the contraction, so that when I went back and like read braille, I could remember, oh, that's the thing that I typed before after I asked Lewis or after I like looked it up or whatever. And so it's just been really helpful. And uh, I don't know about you guys, but I do not enjoy the on-screen keyboard. And I also I have trouble with the braille screen input on iOS and Android. I guess my braille is not that great. So there's that too. Like it's not natural for me. So when I just feel like this empty flat screen, it's harder. It feels harder than something that's tactile like that.
Yeah, I would agree on that. And I think it also varies from phone to phone. Last year, I switched from the iPhone SE to the 15 Pro, and I had to adjust the way I did braille screen input for a bit.
Wait, do you have the Pro or the Pro Max?
Got the Pro.
Oh, so you okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so I
just
have two. So real quick, and I apologize for the noise. My fiance is getting home, so I might have to go on mute real quick again. Um, so two things. One is for writing and one is for reading. For writing, the Braille input on Android has gotten a lot better in over this past year. Not only have they added the ability to select text, cut, copy, paste, all from the Braille keyboard, but now in the 14 point, is it 1 or 2? I think it's 14.1. They
Mm-hmm.
added spell check functionality, which if for me personally was the one thing that was missing from the Braille input experience. So I really enjoyed that from a writing standpoint. And then from a reading standpoint, the thing that I really have used more than any other app this year was reading mode on Google's on Android. That has totally changed the way I consume media. Just being able to have it start reading something and then just listen to it like a podcast. I don't have to stay on the web page. I can lock my phone and just go about listening to these really long articles sometimes that if you want to listen to a think piece, you can listen to it as a podcast now. So that's just a really cool thing. I know reading mode just came to Chrome on a more public level on browsers on desktops, and I haven't really made it work the way it seems to be working on Android. So I don't know if that's a Google situation of Google having two different products with two different names, which has happened, Google, and or if it's something else. So if anybody knows in the comments, only the best and brightest watch these things. So we'd love to hear from you.
I have actually a special request for Google. Every time I read a Google newsletter about a new feature and stuff, I dread the day a little bit, to be completely honest with you, because it seems like if I'm interested in the feature, I will have to hunt and peck and look for how it's done, how it's implemented, what are the accessibility shortcuts, et cetera, et cetera. And it's actually like I'm a little tired of Googling the features that Google are putting out in their
Yeah.
Oh my
To that
goodness.
point,
Yes.
did you know you can use TalkBack on your Chromebook? Because you can, but there's zero documentation on how to do it.
Just
Mhm.
so it's like it's wonder, like, it's if I were to be completely like honest about this, Google to me is like that very talented teenager who is so eager for praise but has like the least attention to detail you can ever imagine a teenager
Mhm.
having.
So let me tell you what happened to me today. So earlier today, no, this was yesterday. There was a video that came out on LinkedIn that I saw. I don't know when it came out, but it's the video of Google accessibility updates. And there was this one feature that I was really excited about. This Google Maps lens feature
Mm-hmm.
where you can open the camera and talkback is supposed to announce what you're looking at,
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
in real time, in real space. If you're at a shopping center, you can pan around and it'll tell you, supposedly. So I was like all excited, and today
Keyword
I
is
went.
supposedly.
Uh-huh. I went out today, which is an amazing thing, but anyway, I wanted to try this out. So what did I do? I opened up Google Maps. Okay, where is it? Where do I go? Because the article literally said, just press the camera button. Okay? Press the camera. Where in the world is the camera? There is no
Mm-hmm.
camera button here. I
Mm-hmm.
go, okay, well, it's called Lens, like Maps and Lens or something like that. So let me try Google Lens. Nope, it's not there either. And I'm just like, what in the world? And then I read on, it's supposed to be available on iPhones as of today, whenever it was written, and Android later. And I'm like, "What? This
But
is
it
a
It's
but
a
it
Google
Google
product.
product. Why
Okay.
is it not available on Android first? What is this?"
like the I'll gripe about this too, because like with the reading mode, I sent I forwarded the Google accessibility newsletter to somebody, and they're like, "Well, I'll believe the reading mode when I see it," and I'm just like, "What? It's not there." So I was googling it and I was looking, up instructions, and apparently you have to go into Chrome flags and enable, and I'm just like, so it's really not as implemented as the newsletter seems to give out, right? It seems to what's that word, Desmond? Help me out here. Seems to suggest. There you go. Um,
You're
so
welcome.
it's like
Me,
what?
ChatGPT.
So like, why is Google spreading fake news about its own products?
I think the issue there is more so that I think it has been in that stage of you having to set the flags for it, and they are,
I
I
understand
believe,
that.
rolling it out. But the documentation has to come out before you start touting about it. Right? I agree with you on that point.
So like this is where I'm very frustrated, because I read about all these cool things, and I have not been secret about with Carrie and Des. I have not been secret about wanting to switch over to Android. But when it came time to upgrade my phone from my iPhone SE, I chose the iPhone because I knew that, well, it may not have all the latest bells or whistles, but at least the documentation is accurate.
On that note, one thing that I actually really enjoy on the iPhone that came out in iOS 17 is the point and speak and the magnifier, which is kind of odd to me that it's in magnifier, but okay, Apple, whatever you want. And essentially, you point your camera to somewhere, and then use your other hand to point at maybe an appliance, or it does kind of work on a book, but it's more for spot reading, like
Yeah.
what's this label say, what's that label say, what's that thing over there say. If you try to do it in a book, it segments the paragraphs and like sentences really weirdly, so it'll read like 3 sentences and all of a sudden um it'll stop, and then you move your finger and it'll like read 2 words, and then you move your finger again and it'll read like 2 more words. So it's like really odd like that, but I use it for the my washing machine, which is not accessible, and my old air fryer, which I retired because that was also pretty inaccessible, and it actually worked relatively well.
Ooh, can I talk about my air fryer real fast?
Sure.
In 2023, I was given a Kazori dual blaze air fryer that can be controlled by Alexa. Sorry, I just set off everybody's Amazon devices. And that's been great. I've been using a lot of I use air fryer pretty much every day, and
Can you
it's wonderful to say, wake word air fryer for 10 minutes, and it does its thing, and then I eat my food.
Can you adjust the temperature on it
Yeah,
as
that's what
well?
Yes. So
That's cool.
there's a so that's one like drawback that I will say about that device is that the voice commands are pretty limited. So if you relied on that alone, you could do some stuff and you probably will get along fine. 85-90% of the time, but there's also an accompanying app that is completely accessible. So that's pretty nice as well.
Oh, I have one thing I wanted to share that happened in 2023 that I haven't shared in any of the wrap up shows that I've done. And I feel a little guilty about it because it's something that I was advocating for and asking for a long time. But the company Scribely
Mm.
actually went and took some of the highest, most often used GIFs over on Jiffy, which is the preeminent place to get your GIFs, and added alt text to them. So, I mean, there's always going to be an infinite number of GIFs that get generated just based on stuff that happens. But I really like the idea of they actually like gathered some data first to find out what the most in demand GIFs were or the most used ones were, and then they added alt text to them. And I think it was like a really cool collaboration between a mainstream company and an accessibility company that I hope we see more of this year.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's cool. I wish they could also do that to emotes on Twitch. Those are really weird looking
Mm.
things that even if I magnify, I'm like, what is this? I have no idea what this is. um, yeah, was there any other things you guys wanted to talk about that you guys have been using or enjoying in from 2023?
For my day job, I've been using Remote Incident Manager
RIM.
from Numa Solutions. You can think of Remote Incident Manager if you don't know about it. It's kind of like TeamViewer or JAWS Tandem or NVDA Remote, that kind of thing. So connecting to somebody else's computer or another computer remotely to provide help support or do whatever you need to do remotely on those machines. But the key difference here is it is screen reader agnostic, and it is accessible to both sighted and blind individuals. So, for example, I could be providing my 75-year-old grandma. Not that I have one, but if I did have one, I could be providing her with tech support, and I can run remote accessibility, so she doesn't even have to have a screen reader installed on her end. I can get speech temporarily, fix whatever she has going on, and then get out of there. So I thought that was pretty powerful. I'm hoping to use it more personally. I'm hoping to get much more into coding and development this year. So I think this would be a great tool for something like paired programming or learning how to program from a screen reader perspective and having someone guide you along the way. The experience that I would describe it using Remote Incident Manager is having two keyboards connected to the same computer. So let's say if you're coding in VS Code and you wrote a wrong line of code and you can't fix it, your instructor can lay hands on keyboard and fix that for you, and then you can read it over and together dissect why that code snippet isn't correct. So as I said, I'm hoping to use that more in that type of in those types of situations going forward.
So that reminds me, this year I also tried out the GitHub Copilot on VS Code, and
Ooh, what did you think?
yeah, so I know HTML, CSS, like I have a rudimentary knowledge of it, and like I know what JavaScript is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided I was gonna try and make a game with GitHub Copilot for my son. I guess it's a flashcard game. So is that a game? I don't know. It's a study tool. And
About Romans?
absolutely not. No.
I
Nope.
really like the Roman Empire. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
have time to talk about that during this call.
Never. It's never gonna happen.
They had a lot of technology too.
Okay.
But anyway, we move forward.
It's pretty, from my experience, it's pretty good. There's a lot of things that they have to work out, and you have to be really, it's like any AI. You have to be super specific with what you want.
I think. Sorry, continue.
But it can work. It has a limit, so you can't just be like, okay, write this super complicated like program for me. No, there's a limit. Unfortunately, I'm like, why? I'm already paying for it, or I'm trying out the beta trial. Why can't I just have the whole experience? But you have to cobble together, if it felt like I was cobbling together the code, so that could honestly be improved, but I was able to successfully make it, so that was fun.
Very cool. Don't hold me to this. I may be adopting a Google move and spreading fake news. Yeah, I can't resist throwing shade. I know. But when I was doing the grip and grin with somebody the other day and networking, somebody told me that I think there's somebody from our community working at GitHub these days in a pretty high up position. So I'm looking forward to that as well in 2024, and hoping to use more of that because of course a lot of developers and folks in the mainstream world use GitHub. So we should be able to have the same kind of access or the same kind of usability, I guess we can say.
Yeah, I remember just a few months ago they were recruiting pretty aggressively for members of the accessibility team. So hopefully those hires bear fruit pretty soon.
Yes, they were. I I do want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Really quick note.
Hello,
green is
chatties.
not the best color, and pink is. Also, Tough Bifong asks for an update for the game that I was going to be making. That I asked. I was being facetious. I was looking for beta testers, but that's not going to happen because even with an AI, coding takes a long time and a lot of effort. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm like, ideally I was like, I want to make an accessible game and it's gonna be like a text adventure game. It's gonna be really cool and really fun, but yeah,
And it will feature the Roman Empire, right?
Oh my gosh. Nope. It'll be fantastical.
Carrie is very anti-Lewis interests.
Yeah, I think the world is.
If I wanted bad advice, I would be asking you.
I mean, it's who thinks about the Roman Empire? No, don't answer that. No, nobody does except Lewis.
Come on, chat, help me out here.
Nope.
You can say all the bad things if you also think about the Roman Empire. You can drag my name to the through the mud if you agree with me on this point.
Yeah, so if you've watched some of my other live streams, you probably know that I mentioned that I have a friend who really talks about the Roman Empire, and that's Lewis. And
I was literally
today,
reading the Roman Empire book before I showed up here.
no. All right, we're going to move on now.
It's on Audible.
And
It's about tech, so if you download, Audible has a lot of Roman Empire books. Reach out to me if you want to know more.
there you go. Reach out to Lewis because I don't want to hear about it.
Which you
help
will.
help him find somebody else to talk about it with.
Please, I thought AI would be our savior, but he still calls us and tells us about the Roman Empire.
Well, I will say that yesterday, was it yesterday? A few days ago, I don't know how it came up, but Joseph, my son, asked, well, what would happen if a Roman soldier didn't obey their commander or their centurion or whatever
It's
it
called
was?
a centurion. The centurion
Whatever.
is the leader
It
of a
doesn't.
cohort,
No.
followed
Stop,
by an
stop. Let's mute.
optio,
Where's the
and then a
mute button?
tesserarius.
Okay. So I did, and I will admit that I did reach out to Lewis and I texted him like, okay, so what does happen? What do they do? And there you go. I guess it's like a Lewis GPT just for the Roman Empire. But we're going to move on now because I do want to get to like more of our expectations and our hopes for 2024. So I'm just gonna probably rapid fire talk about some of the other things that were announced this year that maybe weren't as cool or that we just don't have time for.
That flew
So
under the radar.
yes, and I like this one. Was the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses, and I know that this isn't strictly accessibility related, but there were some videos out there that use this like Be My AI to describe things, and I think that it would be really cool. Except that I don't know how I feel about Meta and Mark Zuckerberg on my face. And then there was the Humane. I don't know. Is that the right way to say it? Humane AI pin, which
It looks like Humini.
Humani, yeah. Oh,
Humana.
there you go. The humidity. It basically is ChatGPT and a pin that you can wear and ask questions to. It also has like a camera and what do you call that thing? A projector that you can use, which I
a
assume
laser
is not accessible. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was also the OKO app, OKO or OKO.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And this helps with crossing streets and navigation. So have either of you tried it?
Yes.
How do you like it?
I think it's great. For the most part, I think it has some like focus and accuracy issues when I was using it. Like,
you're alive, so it must have worked pretty well. I'm thinking.
So how does it work? Like basically, you point the camera to the intersection or the light, or
across the street,
Mm-hmm.
and then when it sees it, it tells you it's safe to walk, and then it does the countdown thingy.
Okay, so do you still use it?
I do. I like to cross check my information. Believe it or not, this Roman centurion is not as confident as he likes to portray at times. So when there's a way to like get that extra bit of confidence, I like it. So I see in that regard.
Gotcha. Yeah, it seems like a cool app. I just haven't.
Although I do think your camera, the fidelity of your camera and how good your camera is does matter, because when I was using it on the SE, I had some focus issues, but when I borrowed a friend's iPhone 14 before I got my 15, she was there because she was interested in testing it out as well. It worked noticeably better, so keep that in mind.
It just sketches me out a little bit because it's one of those apps that like it's such a cool use case, but if it goes wrong, it goes wrong, like with a capital W. So
that's why there's a disclaimer.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also hard to like train it and get the data correct.
I don't know if you train it.
Well, you're training it on like what the lights look like, right? What the different crossings look like. So I'm sure it's not a whole ton of data that you have to train it on, but I think it's trained on something.
On
So
some of it, yeah,
does it
I
only
would.
work for like the crossing thing? Like what if there's an intersection that doesn't have that? Does
It
it
won't work.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there's nothing for it to tell. So
Gotcha.
there has to be a visual indicator for it to clue in on.
Got
But
it.
like with anything, use your tools with caution. Like I still remember some dude I think drove off a pier in Alaska or something when Apple Maps first came out, and then tried to sue the state of Alaska, or tried to sue Apple Maps for giving him wrong directions, and the judge was like, "You're a moron." So
Right. There was also recently. Wait, so I don't know if this was 2023 or 2024, but there was
oh,
a
it's all blur.
Clicks. It's a keyboard case.
24. That's
Oh yeah,
24.
that's a new
Oh,
one
was
that
that
That's
just was
24.
24?
just announced.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we'll
that
talk
was
about that.
Okay,
Actually, I
yeah.
think it's worth talking about.
Yeah, so it's a keyboard case for your iPhone. Right now it's only for the 15 Pro.
Yeah.
Coming out for the 15 Pro Max later,
My
and
birthday was 2 days ago. If you still want to send me a present, you're welcome to.
yeah. It's 159 and it's like a BlackBerry keyboard-ish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting thing now you have a tactile keyboard, which would I remember when I was back in my day, I had those slider keyboards, the phones, and I could type on that really fast and really accurately, actually. Under the table during school, when in my bag, like my hands in the bag. Yeah,
When you were
that.
supposed to study the Roman Empire, yeah.
I,
I'm not gonna lie to you. The best phone that I ever had was a Nokia, and I think it was based on the Nokia E71, but it had like its own branding. It was called the Nokia Surge. I
hmm.
love that phone. It had an open keyboard, and it was the best.
You were using talks on it back then, weren't you?
Actually, to date
Or
myself
mobile
even
speak.
more, I was using Mobile Speak.
Of course, it was mobile speak.
Oh, yeah. So those are we definitely come a long way in the screen
Yeah,
reader
definitely.
department, but I would love
Remember,
to have a tactile keyboard again. That
remember
would be fun.
mobile accessibility before TalkBack became a thing?
Nope.
No, because it wasn't there.
Yeah, there was a before TalkBack, got its act together. Which I mean, come on, Google, really it took you 12, 11 versions? Goodness.
They're getting there.
You know what? I don't care. Like I don't want to give a multi-billion-dollar company more credit than they deserve. But like I still remember when we were struggling to find accessible solutions and screen readers on Android. Mobile accessibility was a thing. So that what a blast from the past.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm not that old. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I'm dating myself at this point.
So moving on, there was also the Be My Eyes Friends and Family. So this is different from the Be My AI. It's now you can create groups instead of just relying on volunteers. You can create groups with, well, friends and family, people that you trust, supposedly. And if you're blind, you can have multiple blind people in there. You can call, and whoever picks up that can pick up first, they can help you. It's kind of like FaceTime, except you can call a whole bunch of people at the same time. There's also Microsoft Copilot for Windows. There was
Ah,
like
for
a lot
Windows
of
11. Yes.
Microsoft Copilot stuff.
I think
They
it's
also
even in Windows 10 now too, right?
that I don't know actually. I don't have any Windows 10 computers.
So
You're gonna hear a
Yeah.
lot more about
Mhm.
Copilot this year.
Yeah.
Brace yourselves.
Lots.
Yes. And they maybe want to add a dedicated button. Uh, uh, some people have been really making fun of Microsoft for wanting to do that. Like, please use this thing, but I don't know. I kind of maybe like the idea. I'm gonna hold off on my
I'll hold
opinion.
off judgment.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
Microsoft for me is a very weird company. Sometimes they do things that I'm just like, great. Other times they do things that I'm just like, who asked for this?
Agreed. Agreed.
Yes.
Although I like the fact that they're taking that step and like adding the first button to their keyboard in 30 years, that to me says we are making a big investment in this. Beyond money, this is a cosmetic thing. Because look at how you look at the Windows keyboard. I just like, to me, it's just always been on the keyboard because it's been there as long as I've been alive. But
Mm-hmm.
there was a time when the control key was right next to the alt key.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, so somebody at Microsoft is not sleeping at the wheel and thinking. So good work over there.
We got to change things up. Please use Microsoft Copilot. That's how I hear it, like in my head. Like Microsoft, please use it. We've
Please
spent
use
so
it.
much money on this thing.
Please stop using other solutions that aren't ours.
Here's how
Please.
here's how you can convince me to use it more. You already have Copilot built into the operating system that I paid money for. Let me use the Copilot and let it have it take me like let me use Chrome. I don't want to have to open a
Mm.
result that I get from Copilot and I have to use Edge, which I've never used in my life. Don't plan on using it now.
To be fair, Edge is kind of built off Chromium, so you
Yeah,
know.
but I still have to move all my stuff over there. What if I
You
don't
can
want to give it
import
to
it.
Microsoft?
God, you sound
Maybe I
so
will.
privileged.
Maybe I will import it this year and get back to you. But I think it's holdover. It's holdover from never wanting to use Internet Explorer. Remember, we used to call it
Mm.
Internet Exploder, and I think I still have that connotation in my mind.
Well, when Edge first came out, it was terrible, but now it's gotten a lot better.
The like to give. Here's the thing that I really wish Google would understand. Like, I know this is turning into like my therapy session with my relationship with Google, and deeply apologize for that. But
That's what Bard is for.
yeah, just don't listen to me. Um, but like the thing is, like, I love Google services, but I will find every hook and hack to use Google services without having to use Google dedicated hardware. I will
So
use I will use Windows to access all my Google services if I could.
What's
why is
interesting?
that?
I just find I don't find the screen reader experience or the Google stuff to be all that intuitive. I'm finding to be, for example, in Google Docs when I'm using it on Windows, I'm finding that I'm more accurate. My spacing's better. My spelling's more accurate. I'm finding that I turn out better work. But when I use Android, I just find a degradation in my quality of work, and that's the biggest reason that I have not switched over to Chrome OS or Android at all. Is that I can do work, I can function fine, but I feel like I'm swimming through molasses, and I feel like there's a degradation in the quality of the work that I do.
Okay, I don't work at Google. I would love if that changed, though, Google. But you've been beating up on them the whole show, so I wanted to say one thing and see if you agree with it. The the way you're comparing it makes it sound like you're comparing using Docs on a desktop on Windows to using it on Android, when I think you should be comparing it to on iOS. Um, right? Does that sound right, or do you am I mischaracterizing what you're saying?
I think a fair comparison would be Docs on Windows and Docs on Chrome OS.
And have you been using that?
I've tried.
Yeah,
Just again felt like I was swimming through molasses all day long.
I
Yeah.
I I've tried, but and then I'll let you because I know you have a Chromebook too, Carrie. I've tried to use it, and I haven't bothered to use it more. But it's not because I haven't enjoyed the docs experience. It's just that there's nothing to do with that computer other than other than
Mhm.
docs. And
Yeah.
again, if
I
maybe somebody could show me how to use TalkBack on that thing. But anyway, go ahead, Carrie.
it's
Talkback,
honestly
Chromebox. What do we
I
use? I don't even know.
I do have a Chromebook. I have two actually. Um,
Both collecting dust.
shh! Don't say that to Google, okay? Don't stop. No, but I have a friend who I don't know how he does it. He's totally blind, and he uses exclusively Chrome OS for work. And I don't know how he migrated from a Windows computer to Chrome OS. I tried. I really did try. You, it's definitely. I agree when it comes to Chrome OS. I don't know. It's usable. I just feel like I'm doing finger gymnastics, honestly.
Mm.
There's just I have to hold down the search, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then there's I don't know, I have having a hard time remembering the two-part keyboard shortcuts. Like what is it? Search O, you let go of that, and then you press something else. I can't even remember.
Yeah, those will
And
come with time, though. I promise you, because I got used to that.
I don't like it. I don't like it. And then I just feel like I have to press more buttons than I do like with NVDA.
So
I
I will say, like, learning keyboard shortcuts and learning difficult navigation commands and layered commands aren't really issues for me. It's the not being able to see the benefit at the end of the road.
mm,
That's the
uh,
issue. Why am I have perfectly usable and accessible solutions. And by the way, usability, like, a part of accessibility is usability. I don't care what anybody says. Um, yeah,
it's
and you
not
can feel
usable, it's not accessible.
you can feel to disagree with me all day long, and I will ignore you. But it's like, if I can't see the promised land of why I'm going through, the 12 labors of Hercules, then the likelihood of me doing it grows thin.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I like to try a lot of new things,
Mm,
but I end up always just gravitating to the things that work. So yeah, in a lot of ways,
yeah.
I agree. But moving on, there were a lot of other things that were announced and that came out. Seeing AI, aside from getting on Android, also had indoor navigation um, feature now for some phones, and you can create routes and things like that. It also has this built-in AI in documents, so you can ask it to, I don't know, summarize what the document is. There was Google Lookout AI too, like there was a question and answer feature where you can send it a picture and ask it questions. But honestly, Be My AI
Yeah, why
is I
why
would
would I
go with
do
that.
that? Yeah.
I would go with Be My AI. Google Bard, we already talked about that. And oh, one fun thing that did come out was 11 Labs and other AI voices. So that was
That's
a lot of
really
fun to
neat.
play with.
And, like, it's folks who may be losing their voice, like, things like that. Like,
Hmm.
I hope, I see a lot of potential of that for them, but I really hope the screen reader experience is still, will still, and be focused on, and have some importance for the folks at 811 Labs, because I think, all of us, as we grew up, I think we started to understand that other people have multiple some people have multiple disabilities beyond blindness, right? So, um, it's important to really consider things, if you're an accessibility company, or in charge of tooling the accessibility mission of a company that finds accessibility important. It's very important to consider that, to consider multiple disabilities, and the ways and means that people use to access your technology.
Yes, definitely. And also, live speech on iOS came out. That's
Hmm.
very similar. What I want to know is when are we going to get better voices and not like on all of our screen readers? I'm hoping for that. And
Look,
then some.
Eloquence came to iOS. I'm completely happy. If Eloquence comes back to Android, I'll consider the switch again.
Bring on the Morgan Freeman voice.
No, we're good. I'm absolutely happy with
Alright,
Eloquence. It's on
let's.
iOS. I'll stick there.
I'm gonna make a voice model for me, and then I'm gonna sell that. No.
Now, if you have a Roman Empire text-to speech
Okay.
that you would like to hook us up with, you can get in touch.
Anyway, other things that were released or were announced more specifically related to blindness, I would say, is there was a new voiceover alternative on Mac. What was it called, Des?
Bosh.
Bosh, there you go. Humanware came out with their new gen Victor Reader stream. So did Hims
Yawn.
with their Sense player. The
Also
Orbit
yawn.
Writer came out. The Orcam Read 3 came out, and which it also has AI built in, of course. And it could connect to like the web as a magnifier and OCR, but it seemed to have really poor frame rate. So there's that. There was the Estee Lauder AI makeup app, which I did try on my iPhone. It was an interesting experience. I'm not a makeup person. Okay, I put like a minimum amount of makeup. Maybe Des and Lewis know more about it than I do. I don't know, but it seemed to work. I can't tell you because I can't see my makeup, so I don't know if it was telling me was right or wrong.
Just too
I'm gonna
bad.
try it for Halloween. I will report back. I'll make a video.
There you go.
Yes.
If the app is still around by then, so make that a Patreon goal or something. If you get enough subscribers, I will do this.
Yes, we'll have a Koa exclusive just for that.
If we get
We
500,
don't want to scare them away. Stop.
if we get 500 people saying that you want this.
Okay,
Oh,
well, if we
God.
don't get more
Yeah.
subscribers,
Like-
I won't do it. How about that?
Wow, what a threat.
It went from blackmail to extortion
Yeah.
very quickly.
I won't do it. See if I will not carry through with it.
Yeah, there was also another one that I think I don't remember the name, but there was another app for makeup AI that came out. There came out a new Ira app came out, and
yeah,
the
Flora.
pricing hikes, which I'm totally gonna call it pricing hikes.
What a price hike. Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
Well, what are they calling it?
An increase in cost? I don't know.
I don't know.
Price increase?
Yeah, yep. It's
Like,
definitely a
please,
price hike.
you can only blame inflation for so much, all right?
But they did come out with a desktop app, right? Right? That's what the hike is for.
I don't pay for things.
Anyway, Microsoft Soundscape was discontinued this year. I don't know if either of you use it, but there were a lot of loyal fans.
Yeah, so I really actually had a gripe about this. Because like the way I'm looking at it is from like a macro point of view, I guess you can say. We don't have a lot of choice in for our accessible solutions, and when it comes to accessible travel solutions, the market becomes more, even more narrow in that regard, right? So I just felt it was a bit of an irresponsible move to just drop it on everybody and be like, oh yeah, we'll just get rid of it. I know they did extend it a while, but
they also put it into open source so other people can develop with its code already.
But there was a lot of push, from what I understood, for that to happen. And open source is great. Open source is great, but like this is the problem that I have with accessibility or the accessibility mindset of a lot of organizations, is that you kick the can down the road until someone claims it. So it's great that there's open source, but if nobody claims that can, fortunately other people have claimed that can, so it's great.
Yes, there are alternatives now,
so there's
OpenScape.
Folks are rising to the challenge. But goodness, like, are you trying to earn some goodwill, or are you trying to break all the goodwill you've been earning for the last 5 to 6 years? Because Microsoft, to give Microsoft credit, has done a lot to redress a lot of accessibility imbalances. Narrator becoming more accessible with Windows 10. You can independently, reinstall Windows by yourself, et cetera, things like that. And then Windows 11 came around, 2023 came around, and then next thing you know, Soundscapes is going away. And I just scratch my head sometimes when I think about this stuff. It's like, you work so hard. You work so hard to tell us how much you care. And then you just turn around and do weird things like this.
I think Lewis is feeling betrayed right now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, some people were afraid that seeing AI could be axed.
Yeah, I was one of those.
And from what I heard, I don't want to spread fake news. This is just hearsay. Let's just clarify that right now. Um, it was because they didn't feel like they had feedback. Microsoft didn't have enough um, feedback from users that they were using it or found it helpful. So
Whose fault is that?
I have no idea.
Microsoft or ours?
Oh, I don't know.
Right? Because everywhere you go, you hear about seeing AI. You can't stop about hearing about seeing AI when it comes to Microsoft. How much did you hear about Soundscapes? So it's like you can't, there's shared responsibility somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm. So now, another thing that happened this year is we're not going to talk about this because I'm very tired of hearing about this conversation. Is the ex Twitter? Yes,
Yeah,
it's
I'm good.
ex Twitter.
Move on.
Accessibility team was fired. Okay, let's move on.
Well, actually,
no. Oh, come on. Okay, go ahead.
I actually have a viewpoint that people might not agree with, and I'm absolutely fine if you don't agree with it. Because I probably say a lot of things. I probably said a lot of things this live stream that people don't agree with. But in 2023, we experienced a tech layoff. Everybody got laid off. And accessibility is part of development and part of design. And you may not agree with the whole accessibility team being fired. And I don't agree with it either. I think it's actually a pretty terrible move, right? But in the bigger scheme of things, if we want the inclusion and want to be considered seriously in the tech world or any other world, there's going to be fair weather days and there's going to be stormy days. And when stormy days come along and other people are getting the axe, our team might get the axe too. And that's turnabout is fair play sometimes.
It has just gotten a lot worse. One thing I will say about Twitter is that I'm still going to call it Twitter, people. The fact that on a computer that it was new, like a different computer that I don't usually use, I was trying to log in, and the CAPTCHA, if you can even call it that, was completely and utterly inaccessible to a screen reader or even with magnification. Okay, it was this
lovely.
weird thing. Okay, there was a hand pointing, okay, in a specific direction, okay, and then there's an animal on the other side, and you have to click
Just
these
on the other
buttons
side.
that you have to make them face the same direction. It's just ridiculous thing that I spent 30 minutes. I'm not even kidding. I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating. I tried, and then Joseph tried because he thought it was fun, which I did not find fun. And no, I didn't. I gave up.
So, that the moral of that lesson probably is captures have gotten more sophisticated. Accessible solutions have not.
Yes.
We can put that one in the CAPTCHA Hall of Fame next to Discord.
Yeah. So, personal thanks to you, Carrie, for helping me sort out my Discord because the accessible CAPTCHA cookie. I love it when I email Discord and say, "Hey, I have an accessibility issue. I can't."
They totally answered, didn't they?
No, they did. They said, "You don't have an issue. Please report again."
Yeah. You don't have. There's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong.
You're hallucinating.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong, and
that's called gaslighting, ladies and gentlemen.
We just locked your account for nothing, but there's nothing wrong. So go fix it. It's not our fault. Good work, Discord. Good work.
Good job, Discord. Well, on that note, you can join the Discord server, the Koa Discord server, if you can get in.
Yeah, if you have one.
Yeah. You can always you can call Carrie for tech support. She's nice.
Yes, sure. I'd be happy to. We have a nice Koa family over there that we talk about everything under the sun and have a lot of fun on there.
It's fun over there. Nobody has made me cry yet, and so that's my measure of how
that's
good
the goal for 2024, folks.
Wait. Nobody has made. Have there been other Discords that make you cry? I'm confused.
I can't. I signed a couple things.
He's a fragile. Okay. He's a fragile hummingbird. This one.
Okay, I got you. All right, Envision glasses have AI. Hey, Envision, and then there's I forgot Orcam had the Hey
Or
Orcam
can,
thing
yeah.
too, and now they're on a subscription-based model like everything else.
Is anyone paying for that? I'm really curious if any subscribers are paying for that,
Well, it
and
uses
how and what
Google
you think about
Glass
it.
too, so why would you
Yeah,
pay for something that uses
very old
a
software.
tech that's not even supported anymore?
Mm-hmm. I don't
I don't
know.
know. If you use
Blind Shell,
Envision, let us know.
yes. Blind Shell Classic. It's a accessible candy bar, old style phone that has a T9 keyboard, and it also actually got Ira and Be My AI and Be My
Good.
Eyes. So that's interesting for some people that may like that. Be My Eyes, what? Okay, so Be My Eyes is always getting new partnership for their specialized help feature. But I do want to mention a big shout out to Lego. Lego finally
Yes.
being partnering with Be My Eyes, and you can call them and totally spend 5 hours setting up a Lego kit thing, whatever
And
set.
there's
There we go.
braille Legos and stuff now too, right?
Yes,
Which
they
is
call them
absolutely fantastic. So you can step on Legos and hurt yourself that are accessible. You know?
At least you hurt yourself in an accessible way.
Yeah,
That's
at
true.
least join the club, folks.
Hey, but if you get on that Be My Eyes Lego um, app or that feature, there's some people in the world, man, who love Lego and would love to spend hours and hours helping you build that Death Star.
They
So,
don't call it
yeah,
Legoland for nothing, kids.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've gone down the YouTube rabbit hole for Legos before.
How's our
Um,
cat doing, by the way? Is anyone?
it's just so hard to keep up with. Um, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about something, and then maybe you guys can talk about what you're looking forward to in 2024 while I try to catch up with the chat. What are you
Oh,
guys looking
yeah.
forward to?
Yeah, well, Carrie catches up on the chat. I want to bring up, first of all, the Consumer Electronics Show is just, I think today was the last day actually, so it's just wrapped up. And there was, as always, it sets the pace for what the year is going to look like in terms of technology. Something that really stood out to me from the show, and I did a whole podcast on it that'll be out tomorrow, uh, is a new device called the R1, and it's by a company called Rabbit,
Mm.
and it's basically a smartphone without the phone part. Like we've always made fun of what you take the phone out of a smartphone, and this is what they've done.
You
And
actually use your phone as a phone?
yeah, and the idea here is you never have to touch this. It comes with a screen, but you are minimizing your interactions with it. It can connect to apps through that through apps that you set up in a dashboard. So you can integrate. I'm thinking you'll eventually be able to integrate things like Gmail, things like your social media. I imagine being able to just do a DoorDash order simply by using my voice. But it's one of those things that's in its really early stages. You have to get the apps to agree to be third party, parts of a foreign ecosystem. So it's
Yeah.
gonna start pretty slow, but I see it as having a ton of potential. $199. Not
Imagine
sure if,
that.
but here's the thing. It's $200, right? They've already sold 10,000 in the first 24 hours of sales. So
Yeah, they're
somebody's
sold out.
interested.
20K,
Yeah,
Mhm.
right? Right now?
somebody's interested.
That's the right now, right?
10, I thought it was 10, but it may be 20.
I don't know, but they are on the third batch, whatever that means, of
Yeah.
pre-orders.
Wow.
Yep. So it's really interesting because, like, things like ChatGPT and Bard, all of them use a large language model, but this one they're calling a large action model. So that's what I feel like we've always wanted, right? With the Amazon Echo devices, we want to just
Yeah.
be able to talk to them and make it do stuff. But now we have to like say specific trigger words and say things in a specific way to make it do something, or it'll say, "I'm sorry, don't understand. I can't help you with that."
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how it goes because it just feels too good to be true. Honestly, 199 for what
Yeah.
it can do. It's smaller than a phone,
Yeah.
and they had a pretty interesting keynote. And there was a marketing video where there was this girl that said, "Oh, call me an Uber and tell everybody I'll be late and do something else." and then it's just supposed to do that for you, right? And that's a lot of interacting with the apps, and we're gonna see how different it will become. Like, are we still going to have smartphones that are like what we have today in next year? I don't know.
I also think if I'm Amazon, I am going to get a have to put some pep in my step. I think they have really not done anything in the last few years to make their assistant better,
Yeah.
Mm.
and um,
They they
these
are
guys are
coming out
coming to eat
with,
your lunch.
yeah, they are coming out with Let's Chat, which is still in beta, that will like integrate Chat GPT into
Yeah,
your A
I've
lady.
been hearing about that for like 6 months.
Everyone, like, I take it par for the course that everyone's gonna implement ChatGPT, so that's not interesting to me whatsoever. It's how people
Will have it soon.
that will make it interesting. I will say about the R1, I think it's a great boon um, for people with disabilities who primarily rely on their voice. Clearly, I do not, because my mouth does not how to use words to speak. But I am slightly concerned about the rise of AI and all these new technologies and new and novel ways to access information. Are people going to forget about the semantic screen reader side of things? Because that still needs to be accessible, right? Like, I don't want to talk to my devices all day long. Sometimes I just want to press enter on a link and it takes me to where I need to go.
Sure.
Yep. What do you guys think about the Apple Vision Pro? Um,
I hope you get one.
Yeah,
I hope I get one too.
I don't want to. I heard that you can actually go into the store and play with it, so I might do that. That might be fun. But yeah, I would never pay for that. Pay, what is it, $3,500?
Yes.
Yeah, no
Something.
thanks. To shoot
That's how
invisible bubbles or whatever it is. I'm good.
that's how much CCTVs or video magnifiers can be, even more expensive than that. And somebody in the chat was talking about how the Apple Vision Pro is very similar to the CCTV or um, video magnifiers, and I don't think so. I disagree. It can do a lot more than what a magnifier could do, and I don't even think that they have it set up. I don't know, is there going to be a magnifier app on the Vision Pro? That will be interesting. That I do want to see and try, if they do have that. Also, somebody said, when I say somebody, it's because I can't find the message anymore.
Anonymous users.
So, oh, here we go. Michael Grove is, what has Microsoft been doing with ZoomText since they bought them a couple years ago? So Microsoft did not buy
ZoomText?
ZoomText. That was Sparrow, and the same company as Freedom Scientific. And
Vispero is the
yes,
parent family
parent.
of Freedom Scientific, and they bought out Freedom Scientific, which
And
is
ZoomText.
yeah. So Freedom Scientific, of course, everybody knows, makes the JAWS for Windows screen reader, and then Optilect.
Optilect, yes, that's part of Vispero now too.
Yeah, they made ZoomText, right?
No, AI Square did.
AI Squared made ZoomText. There you go. Because they used to be, they had Windows and everything. Got it.
Yeah.
I've been here with a couple of squares.
So ZoomText now is and JAWS are under the same umbrella, and you can get a thing called Fusion, which is ZoomText and JAWS together. So
yeah, and it has supposedly gotten a lot better, because in the beginning, Fusion was a terrible experience. Let's
Fusion
just
was
leave it at that.
not fusing.
No,
You say supposedly, so you haven't used it?
I haven't tried. Some people like it. It's what I've heard, but I really find just using the built-in Windows magnifier with NVDA, it works well. Like, I think those work well, and there's no. I mean, I feel that Windows magnifier has all the features that I really need. I don't really need like the extras that ZoomText has, especially for the price that it comes with.
Yeah, you don't have to pay $100 a year or whatever it is these days.
Yeah, and then so the Celeste smart glasses. I think you guys have seen my video on it, an interview I did. I pre-ordered mine. I want to see what it's like, but it basically has Chat GPT kind of vision, and you can ask it stuff to describe things for you and to read text for you and things like that. So
That's
I'm
cool.
excited about that. It's technically still in beta, so it was kind of in limbo. It's not technically 2023. I don't know when it will officially release, but it's available to get. So
Hmm.
it's also subscription based, which I don't know how to feel about.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be hard put to find anything that isn't subscription based. Remember when if you cut the cord, you're supposed to save more money. I don't think it's worked
Mm.
that way anymore. It's now it's the like freemium model or subscription model. So
Cable's making a comeback in the next 5 years. I'm calling it now. You mean
too
I can
bad.
have it beamed to my house via a cable separate from my internet? That's crazy.
We'll see. We'll see. One thing I do want to say, and I think that I want to have a similar video to this like every year. What I'm expecting for this year is self-driving cars. Okay, I'm gonna say it every single year
You already
until it
have that
happens.
already.
No, one that I can have in
One
my
that you can
garage,
drive. Come on, have
one that I
have
can
higher standards
use
for yourself, Des.
any second. You know how there's a
Mm-hmm.
car right out there in the driveway right now. My brother, my mom can just go in there and just start driving wherever they want. I want to have that same autonomy, and every year I'm going to ask for this until it happens.
I want that too so badly, but I would be
Like
if that happened this year, I would be terrified.
I will move. I will move to a state where self-driving cars are legal because I think once the technology matures, then you need to wait for Congress, and a bunch. We all know that Congress is a bunch of people with one foot in the grave already. So God knows they don't understand self-driving cars. They're still thinking about horses and carriages in 1925. So
I hope we're still alive.
I will move. I will move to a different state. I swear to God, I will move to a state that the first state that announces that self-driving cars are legal on your streets. I will move there. I will be your first move-in resident.
One of the Discord members, Izzy, she mentioned that there's a lot of talk about just not the self-driving cars not being something that you can really own, and it's just all going to be kind of like Waymo where you can ask for one, and I really hope that doesn't happen. I want to own one, and
You
I
don't
want to
own
be able
anything
to.
anymore.
I
You
don't
think you
care.
own
I
your
want to
phone? You
own
think you
it.
own your
Okay.
data? You don't own anything anymore. You trade in your phones every year. You lease.
That's
You
true.
lease.
No,
You lease your megabytes on Gmail. You don't own anything in this digital world.
no,
You
but I
have
want to
nothing.
own
You
that.
have
That
no
is
real
something I want
estate.
to own.
Stop pretending that your real estate matters because you have none.
I want it in my garage. Okay, fine, fine. I pay a monthly subscription, whatever you want, but it has to be here in my property
That's
where I
called a
live.
lease. People
That's
do
Okay,
called okay.
that.
I was
It's called
about
a
fine.
to ask if
lease.
that's what a lease was. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think that's what a
guess.
that's called a
lease is.
lease.
No, I changed my mind. I still want to own it. I changed it. It's mine. If anybody wants to sponsor
Watch. She
me,
owns it in 2025. In 2026, they come out with an update that bricks it.
no.
That's how it's gonna go.
Oh gosh,
So
I hope
why in
so.
your scenario is she buying a Tesla?
I didn't say Tesla. You said Tesla.
Yeah, you said it gets bricked after the next update. That sounds like
I
a
mean,
Tesla to me.
I expect Google to break their first self-driving car when it comes out too. Because I mean, I've been hearing about the Google self-driving car since 2011, since I was like, when I was young and had a lot more hair. So there's that.
Oh boy. And one thing I forgot to talk about is the Optima Braille laptop. Are you guys
Yeah.
excited for that?
Is that coming out this year?
It's last year they said next year.
All right.
Is it
Well,
going to
tentative.
happen?
However, remember that one of the founders, like of the Optima computer, is in Israel, and I think he may be using a lot of resources in his own country, and we all know what's going on in that region of the world right now. So I think it's reasonable to expect a delay on the Optima.
Yeah, I hope not, but I could totally see where you're coming
Yeah,
from because
but personally, speaking, orbit research, they're well, it's orbit research, right? So when they come out with something, it sounds great, and there's hype around it for a while, and then we see where it goes. So I I'm optimistic, but I'm not holding my breath.
So for those who don't know what the Optima Braille laptop is, it's a no, what is the company called? Framework. I was about to say mainframe, which is not correct. Framework. They make modular laptops, and essentially, it's a modular laptop that doesn't have a screen and has a built-in Braille display.
Yep.
Um, and it runs Windows, which is definitely a lot better than outdated
Yeah.
Android software on most Braille displays that are what 5,000. I don't know how much Braille displays are, but they're
Six.
in the thousands of
Yeah.
dollars. Okay, uh, so that what a lot of people have been asking for too is, can we have the same thing except without the Braille display, just a keyboard, the laptop
Yeah.
device? And I'm
So
like, yeah, I think that would be cool if you could like detach and attach a Braille um, display. That would be interesting.
So, from my understanding, the partnership is
Mhm.
Framework, which you can buy a Framework laptop, by the
Yes.
way. Orbit Research, they're doing the Braille bit, and then there's a gentleman by the name of Adi Kushner, who is the Israeli gentleman spearheading this, and his last project was with the L Braille from Freedom Scientific, which was a Windows 10 laptop with Braille display that ran JAWS, and it was manufactured by a Russian company. Um, and that didn't go off too well, I guess. Never used it now, bro, for record. So Mr. Kushner partners with, or is partner with Orbit Research and Framework, and is using the lessons that he learned from his Elbra experiences to make this a real device.
Yes. So we'll have to see it and test it out. That will be really interesting. If it lives up to its promise.
Yep, and I really hope there's a new emphasis on blindness and how blind tech and low vision tech is looked at. And I hope the emphasis is rather it be cool features and closing gaps. I hope the new focus will be on how we can create and do things for ourselves and be more employable and efficient and all those things, but in really meaningful ways, and rather than, oh, everybody else has that, now it's easier for you. I think the bar in assistive technology and accessibility is kind of abysmal in some senses, and I hope that that bar raises, because it's lovely to talk about how capable we are, but it's not so lovely after the conversation when you're beating your head against the wall because the tools aren't there for you.
Yes, and that's actually a perfect segue. Are we looking forward to more AI and everything? Everything that we do and everything that we use. There is now AI in my video editing software, but it can't really do much. There's AI in Canva, which is a graphic
Oh,
editing
Canva.
software,
but we can't
which
use Canva.
yeah, but now that it has an AI chatbot, but it can't actually do anything. It just
Yep.
guides you. Will I don't know. Are they going to integrate AI into overlays?
So I actually look forward to AI. I with the absolute understanding that AI is created by humans. But here's the thing, though, folks. I think technology, including AI, is neither good or bad, neither useful or unuseful. It's what people do with it that makes a difference, right? So, and I don't have faith in humanity. I'll just put it out that way. Like, just look at how happy people are when Be My AI came out, and look at how many you can go read the testimonials for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. Look at how many people are telling you, that images and dealing with the visual world and image descriptions and so on and so forth have become so much easier. When years and years and years, we're just begging people to add alt text. We're just telling people how it excludes us. We're telling people how it makes us feel terrible. And you know what? It's wonderful that the people who listened have tried, but I think the overwhelming part of it for me was this is a realm that isn't for me. There is a relentless commitment towards visual information that did not include me, and I felt like AI was that tool that can be that equalizer as it becomes better, and it is already that equalizer going back to be my AI, right? Like I don't have to rely on another human to do it. I don't have to rely on someone to describe things to me. I can do it with the technology that I have, and that's powerful. And granted, somebody created it, you know, and I will give it that credit. But I could be misusing it too, right? What if I remember Tap that app from years and years ago, and people were taking pictures of their private parts and uploading it.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, if to be completely honest, and to completely put the blind community on the spot, you have a choice. You want to use this for something useful, and you want to show society that you can rise up above your blindness and all that. Positive speak and become a positive member of society. Then use the technology the way it's intended to be. You start uploading your private parts to the internet, then no wonder why people are chastising us, right? So
this is really interesting because usually I have a very optimistic point of view when it comes to tech, and then here comes Lewis, trying to sway the scale in the other way. I think that
I felt that was pretty optimistic. I don't know what you're talking about.
I am really hopeful for AI. I know all the risks and everything that people have been talking about, the concerns with AI, but I'm just gonna put it on the record. I hope and pray that I don't know. It just keeps continuing to be positive, and that
Agreed.
they continue making really cool stuff. Like I actually really am excited about the R1. I was considering pre-ordering it, but I don't know. Des, are you going to pre-order and try it? I'm
Patrons,
hesitant.
we need.
We'll see. So the one thing that really dissuaded me about the R1 is
Mm.
it's like already making waves, and there's not a peep about any sort of accessibility features that it's going to have.
Mm-hmm.
The thing
Yeah.
has a screen, so I mean, and it has its own proprietary OS. So I just want to know before I make that and pull that trigger that yeah, what are the features that this thing is going to have, and it's very new and it's going to be a cutting edge device, so I want to see them have those considerations.
I'm really tempted to just go ahead and get one, and then whether it's good or bad, I can just say it, and then like in a video and say, okay, call them out on it. And if it sucks, well, I'm just gonna be like, here, there's nothing. Just
It
like with
sucks.
the
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch. It's 2024, Nintendo. I'm just gonna complain right here and put some accessibility on your products,
No,
please.
I'll join that for sure. Please.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to this year, and I'm looking forward to a bunch of new things. And I'm sure that me and Des and Lewis will be talking more about it in the future on
Yeah.
here and on the podcast.
Last thing I'll say is if you want to play a fun drinking game, take a shot every time you hear the term AIPC this year. And I promise you, you will be hammered by
You'll
next
be
month.
hammered by 9 a.m. I guarantee it.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard that term this week.
If I could get a penny for each time people just said AI.
If you took a shot for every time you heard the term AIPC, or the term, or every time you hear me say the words Roman Empire, you'll be set for your drinking life for the rest of your life.
Okay, no,
Guaranteed.
I'm good. Okay. Here we come again with the Roman Empire. On that note, thank you to everybody for joining us on this live stream. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new, subscribe. And if you found this valuable in some way, and you want to support the channel, consider becoming a Koa YouTube member or a patron. I really appreciate all of you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Stay classy.